Will tonight be the night? A win streak, finally. No better way to celebrate Curtis Lazar's 600th game. We get you set for the Oilers and the Devils here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show a little bit later on a weekday as we get you set for the Oilers and the Devils. Of course, the pre- and post-game show brought to you by our good friends and partners over at GCL Diesel. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. You can join the conversation. Hit us up on the text line, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat if you're watching over on YouTube. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage in for Sean Bell tonight. A big thank you to Gage for stepping up. And then Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. And let's welcome the boys in. They're ready to go. Hey, Benny, how are you? Well, I see Joaquin's. Well, there's Joaquin. He's very pensive right now. Oh, wait.
Sorry, guys. I was just doing stuff.
Oh, okay. We could have let you do stuff. I'm sorry. I kind of called you in 2 minutes early. My bad.
It's all right, Tommy.
Yeah. How are we doing? Everybody's good? Everybody's excited? 3-game win streak on the line?
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. I woke up this morning, and and my first thought was, Oilers are getting it done. It's happening. I believe it with my heart.
Sorry to be the cold in your shower, Benny, but I just don't think the stars line up for the Oilers tonight.
Wow. Eight times they've had a chance to do this, guys. 8 this season. What was game 51 tonight? And they haven't done. Joaquin, what is your rationale behind this?
Well, you listen to me on the show, EST Afternoons 1 to 3 every day at Edmonton Sports Talk. But Hernan is on your side of the fence, thinking this will get done. I am the cooler head and looking at obviously past performance. This hasn't been done all year.
No.
We look at the last 2 games, a great weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. We know they can get turn into big fat pussycats and just lay on the couch in the sunbeams when things are going well. And they did have quite the celebration, I believe, Sunday night. And with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins celebrating 1,000 games, his whole family, his boys in town. I am look, I can neither confirm or deny, but I believe it went something like Knobloch comes into the room, and there's no greater feeling than this ever in all of life, I think. Maybe birth of your kids. I don't know. That's still, but when your coach comes in and gives you some sort of weird speech, and at the end of it goes, I'll see you all Tuesday. Or green light, see you all Tuesday. And you're like, you would have thought they just won the cup in there. Everyone jumps out of their stalls. There's pumpernickels, high fives. And I think they got after it. And just why not? And 1,000 games, Nuge scores in it. It's a great night. 2 shutouts. Both your guys everything lines up for a great party on Sunday night. And Tuesday rolls around, a little bit sluggish. Mm-hmm. You got a team that's won 3 out of the last 4. Mm-hmm. had their way with you the last time in New Jersey. I'm sorry, boys. We're going to have to wait for this 3-game winning streak.
Hey, Gage, you showed your work, man. You showed your work. A 5-3 loss back on October 18th at Prudential Center for a quick refresher. And then, those Devils have been playing good despite some big injuries. And we'll talk to Amanda Stein about those later on in the show. Coming off a 2-1 win in OT in Calgary last night. They lost to the Hurricanes, but they beat the Kraken in the Wild. 2 good teams. Prior to that, they had a 4-game losing streak before the 2 wins. So not an easy team for the Oilers, and they're a Devils team that has given the Oilers fits at home in recent years, and they have some really good pieces. But I understand where you're coming from, Gager, but it would be nice if we were talking about a 3-game winning streak. Before we dive into the question of the night and Gage changers and lineups and stuff like that, the whole premise of the 3-game winning streak, I've been on it. I admit it to me is when I observe a team, I think a good sign and something that tells me and that is indicative of a strong team at any level in any sport is winning streaks and continued success and nice stretches. And then, you see a winning streak happens. Teams get a little bit complacent with their play, bad habits come in, and then they drop one. But then the good teams pick it back up again. Some people don't buy into that. Joaquin, what do you say to that? And then I want to hear what Benny has to say too.
But I don't think any of that's come into their game lately, Tommy. There's another thing that I loved about the previous game against the Blues was it was the 2-second rule in the defensive zone. And what I mean by that, you could go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and before you finished, an Oiler was on the St. Louis Blues player who had the puck. They just had no time to have a look, to generate stuff. And when it took a really good play by the St. Louis Blues to just generate a look on net. And even at that point, when you just don't have the elite skill of the superstars that don't need a lot of space and time to get that puck off and put it where they want to. And one of the reasons why Connor Ingram had a great night was because they were able to limit that time and space, and he got to the top of the crease, made himself big. They had to make a perfect shot to get it past him, right? So I didn't see any deficiencies in that game, even when, I know people will say, well, they got hemmed in for a few. It's okay to get hemmed in. When you're defending like that, you're frustrating the other team. And what happens is eventually they start making mistakes and you can counter, go back the other way with it.
Someone came, I ran into a listener out and about yesterday afternoon, and they're like, hey, how about that goaltending? Wow, great to see them make a save. I was like, yes, but have you noticed how well the defense has been playing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, hey, the goalies deserve their flowers because they've been playing good. And I'll even give Pickard some credit, even though he hasn't been playing a ton. But when you're getting solid defensive play, not perfect, it still needs a little bit of work. And Chris Knobloch talked about that. It makes a big difference. And I like that you point that out, Joaquin. Also on the no winning streak and of the mind. Yeah, they haven't been able to fall into bad habits because they haven't had sustained success, Joaquin. Benny, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think the results that we saw over the weekend to me were a mix of three things. One, the opponents were weak. Vancouver and St. Louis Blues, they're not very good. They're both not very good teams. And I understand the New Jersey Devils have a ton of skill on this roster, but they haven't shown that in the past 25 games or so. They had a really good start since then. It's been pretty damn bad for the New Jersey Devils. The goaltending, of course, 100%, like you were saying, they deserve their flowers. Jarry and Ingram give a different look to this team. I think they play a different style of goaltending, although I'm not an expert. I just think they look more calm and collected, and it doesn't look as flashy in net, which is what I think the Oilers have needed. But all that goes hand in hand with the defense that the Oilers have played. I think a lot of guys are settling into the roles. Jake Wallman, to me, is a big reason why I think this defense has settled in, because he's filled in the role that they were missing, right? When you have Regula playing top four, yeah, a lot can go down, and not for the good, right? Regula has some errors in his game, and he's a young defenseman that needs time to develop. So you're kind of trying to plug a hole there, and it just wasn't really working. Jake Wallman's been an experienced top four defenseman now, and so he stepped into that role. I think ever since then, this defense has looked pretty sharp since then. So I think it's a mix of those three for the reason why we saw the results that we got over the weekend. And I'd imagine, I don't know, obviously, Gage doesn't think it's going to happen. I think they might play guilty with having a night out Sunday, celebrating Nuge. But also, I just think that the New Jersey Devils aren't playing at the top of their game right now. And so if they could put a similar effort to what they had against Vancouver, what they had against St. Louis, I'd imagine that I like the chances that the Oilers get a similar result to what they got over the weekend. But like they've had happen 8 times this season, they tend to not do that on that third game to complete a win streak. So I guess we'll see it happens tonight. I believe it will.
Benny, I hate to say you're a young man, but guilt only lasts one day, even shorter for guys like Tommy. So
Hey,
By the second day, you're just fine.
you and I, Benny, might not be goaltending experts or experts in life, actually, but we're lucky to have one on with us tonight on the show. So I think you could check both those boxes by Joaquin's name for sure. All right. You can text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. And then, just talk about the defense just to end this part of the conversation. And when the Oilers have struggled with moving the puck efficiently, like Gage likes to allude to, and when they have struggled with their defensive game, they've had situations where they've given up points. Like you think about the OT loss to Nashville. They were sloppy. You think about the loss to the LA Kings. They gave up a point to a divisional rival that's chasing them down. They weren't particularly great. You think about the game against Philly, not great. The game against Boston on New Year's Eve, they were not good. And so when the defense and the forwards don't work as a good five-man unit, I mean, the results are there. You could say, yeah, that it's not perfect right now. It is better, but there have been moments recently where when they let their foot off the gas, it has bit them in the ass. And I didn't mean to rhyme. I'm very, very sorry about that, you guys. Okay, let's dive into lineups really quickly. And then the question of the night and Gage changers. The Oilers, McDavid, Podkolzin, and Hyman together. Nugent Hopkins between Frederick and Roslovic. Lazar getting the bump up, but that's because they're going 11-7 with Mangiapane and Janmark, Howard, and Savoy listed, quote unquote, as the extra forwards. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Emerson, Wallman, Stasny, and then Regula. Kasperi Kapanen did skate today. That's good, but he will not be playing. As for the Devils, this is what we're anticipating. They did play last night in Calgary. Jack Hughes between Timo Meier and Jesper Bratt. Nico Hischier with Andre Palat and Dawson Mercer. Cody Glass with Arseny Gritsyuk and Lenny Haminaho. I hope I'm saying that right. Paul Cotter with Evgeny Dodonov and Connor Brown. Good to hear from Connor Brown today. And then Brendan Dillon with Brett Pesce. Jonas Siegenthaler with Jonathan Kovacevic. And then Shimon Nemec with Dougie Hamilton. Your starting goalies, Tristan Jarry getting the nod. The 30-year-old is 13-3-2 with a 264 GAA, 909 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 19 games this year. He has an 8-8-2 record lifetime versus the Devils, 314 GAA, 899 save percentage. And then Jake Allen getting the start, 35-year-old, 11-11-1 this year, 268 goals against average, 908 save percentage, 1 shutout in 24 games. Lifetime versus the Oil, pretty good for Allen, 13-9-2, 255 GAA, 911 save percentage, 1 shutout in 24 games against Edmonton. Let's get to your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today. www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977 for the Oilers. Leon Draisaitl not back tonight. Expected back later this week. Obviously, took some time to go back home to Germany. Family illness was listed there. Kasperi Kapanen went down hard in that game the other night and did not return. He will not play tonight. Good sign that he skated. Then Adam Henrique, LTIR, undisclosed. As for the Devils, Luke Hughes last night, a shoulder injury, and that's not good. But sounds like it's the opposite shoulder from the one that he had problems with before. He is out. Stefan Nason, IR knee. Mark McLaughlin, IR undisclosed. And Zach McEwen, IR knee. That is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Book your assessment at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. All right, Benny, what is the question of the night?
I mean, I'm keeping this one simple tonight. Do the Oilers finally get it done? Is this the 3-game win streak? I know we've talked about it a bunch already, but this was what I thought of. Just keeping it simple. Do the Oilers finally get their first 3-game win streak of the night or of the season? Let us know.
Joaquin, you want to stick with the no?
I'm sorry, Benny. It's a no for me. Unfortunately.
I will say yes. Joaquin did show his work. And if you're going to text in your thoughts, we'd appreciate if you show your work. Why not? Will the Oilers get this 3-game winning streak finally or not get this 3-game winning streak? It will be the 9th opportunity this season for them to have an actual winning streak. We'll see if it happens. Let us know. 780-218-9999 and the nasty chat. Let's get to Gage changers with our game analyst, Joaquin. Gage, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, a consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Joaquin, don't let the devil trick you.
Oh, like I mentioned before, Tommy, they have won 3 out of the last 4, but everything coming out of New Jersey is the team overall is not playing well. We hear with Douglas Hamilton, his agent getting involved. It sounds like there's an eventual trade there. You've got 2 aging goaltenders that you extended. That is like, you have 35-year-old goaltenders now. What's the reason for this? Now you have Luke Hughes out of the lineup. Like, so there's a lot of things that you look on the board and go, hey, this should be a cakewalk. But there's still some pretty good talent over there that you have to watch out for, right? So for the Oilers to try and extend this winning streak to 3 games, they're going to have to bring it for, this first 10 minutes, I think is going to be a surefire tell of how this game is going to go. We know their record at scoring first. That always bodes well. So, I mean, I hate to say it, Tommy, but I think the first goal has a huge bearing on who's going to win tonight's game.
Oh, it has had a huge bearing on the Oilers pretty much all season. So that's a fair point, Joaquin. And then just speaking of the Devils and these Devils in recent years, Edmonton's dropped 2 of its last 3 home games to New Jersey and 3 straight overall. So they have been able to get the better of Edmonton in recent seasons. All right. That was point number 1 of Gage changers. It was don't let the devil trick you. Number 2, limbo.
So as we all know, limbo, the first level of Dante's Inferno on your ascent to hell or descent to hell. Oilers with this 3-game winning streak, they're in limbo, man. Like how are they supposed to get this thing done? They're playing arguably some of their best hockey right now, and that's without one of their superstars, right? You sometimes losing one of your best players can be a blessing in disguise, because obviously other guys get elevated into the lineup. It gives the coaching staff the ability to kind of become the mad scientist and mix and match and see what else they have. But yeah, it just seems like they just can't get over this hump. They're just waiting for something else to happen. Take the bull by the horns here, or take the devil by the horns, I should say, and try to get this thing. Because when you look at the standings, man, it's this year. It's mind-boggling when you look at what could happen with just a streak, putting together 3 or 4 game winning streak. It can really vault you in, and I think. I don't know about you guys, but I really do think that winning the Pacific is not only possible this year, but might actually be needed a little bit. I'd like to see them finish first.
Got a bunch of games against Vegas. And it's also interesting, too, and I want to hear from Benny on this, because it's only been 2 games, but Sheldon Keefe said something interesting when I asked him about this Oilers team today that he's going to face compared to the one that they had mid-October in the early parts of the season. And he brought up Draisaitl being out, and he talked about you could argue that they're playing better without him. Do you guys buy that? Benny, what would you say to that?
I think so, because it's a next man up mentality when that happens, right? And obviously, I think it was Kapanen after the game against Vancouver in his post game saying, we're playing for Leon, we're playing for his family, like for what he's going through right now. We're going to step up for him. So to me, I think it's absolutely you want to fill in the shoes of Draisaitl. No one's going to do it to Draisaitl's excellence, but little minor improvements everywhere around the lineup is going to help, and that's been key, because you've been seeing the depth scoring really kicking in this past 2 games. You have Mangiapane and Roslovic with 2 goal nights. Kapanen, obviously, he's out, but it seems like the depth scoring has really risen since Draisaitl has been out. So, I mean, to me, I would think that it's a big. They take pride in being, filling in for Leon Draisaitl in terms of trying to win the Pacific. Like, you're chasing The Vegas Golden Knights, who just improved their back end with Rasmus Anderson, right? So you got to think that, they're not going anywhere on the Pacific Division. And of course, home ice advantage is nice. It's not a you don't need it, because we saw it last year. The Oilers, they won every series they were on the road for, and then they lose the one they had at home against Florida in the Cup final. But to me, you haven't won a Pacific Division since Tom was in diapers, I believe. Or were you born?
Legit.
In diapers.
I was one.
Yes. So to me, it's like that would be huge for this team. Just to see a division win would be nice. So I think that's, they're probably gonna have a little bit more pride tonight. Once again, with just not having Draisaitl in the lineup, but it also plays into, you want the Oilers to win the Pacific, give themselves the easiest road to the conference final. We were going to play a juggernaut over from the Central Division. So I'd like to see them capitalize here and see if they can win a Pacific.
And it's not only like next player up, like Benny said, it's next coach up. I think this is allowed, or this has made this coaching staff have to navigate how to have success without the crutch that they use so much throughout up to this point in the season. You can't fall back on going nuclear with Connor and Leon. So now you got to figure stuff out. I think out of Leon, with all it's unfortunate that he has to go through something like this, but the silver lining is the fact that the coaching staff has actually found different combinations of personnel that maybe when things aren't going well with what we've seen in the past, they go, we can use that again. We can go back to that worked before. They have something there. So just getting a little bit better bearings on what you have as a group, as a team, I think has been the biggest surprise and the biggest asset with the unfortunate loss of Leon Draisaitl over the last week.
That's a great point, Gager. Well said, Benny. Very good. Very good. I love it. This is Gage Changers, brought to you by David Butting Real Estate. Point number 1 was don't let the devil trick you. Point number 2 was limbo. And then we kind of carried that conversation into the life without Draisaitl, albeit pretty brief, which is good. Hopefully he's back on track and he's in a good mindset and everything, it's tough that what he's going through and what his family's gone through, but hopefully he's okay and can get back into the groove that he was in prior to taking the leave. And then that takes us to point number 3, Gager, Jake the Snake.
Jake Allen's had a lot of success against the Oilers.
Yeah.
And I love him on the panel. I think he's quite articulate. I like what he has to say. I like how he breaks down goaltending, but that's for in the postseason, and he can do as much panel work as possible. They got to get to this guy. And I think over the games, if memory serves correctly, it wasn't a hard night for Jake Allen. And now you see the way that the Oilers are starting to score goals. There's some greasy ones. There's guys going to the net. They're making it hard. Goalies are having to think where they put rebounds, right? Because if they leave them in certain areas, they're going to get banged home and by Hyman and you see Podkolzin and even Mangiapane, for instance, scoring his first goal in a while. So make life as difficult as possible for Jake the Snake. Tame him. Shouldn't be a python. More of a garter steak tonight.
One time I was golfing and this guy, I'm not going to say who he is. He might have had a few beverages and some other things, and he was golfing bare feet and he found a small gardener snake and he picked it up. It was like a baby. And I looked at it. He's like, "Hey, Tom, look at this." And he's like dangling. I'm like, "Oh, is that a snake?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Is it still alive?" He's like, "Not anymore." And then he threw it on somebody who was golfing with us. And I was like, oh my God. It haunts, like, poor little creature, first of all, even though it's a snake and they can be scary, certain ones. And then right when you said gardener snake, I'm like, oh man, lunatic.
Yeah. I hate golfing with Matawanek too.
Gager, oh, so good. Good one-liner. How about this one today from the locker room? Curtis Lazar, it goes, hey, I wonder what my t-shirt's going to look like tonight. It's his 600th game.
Oh, that's good.
It's his 600th game. No t-shirt planned. I checked with Brad Harrison, who does those. And I'm very happy for him, but he's still got the wit. But do you think he's going to be pumped up for tonight?
Oh yeah. Like what a career, 600 games in the NHL, and especially in the role that he's done. Because I remember when he kind of came in and he went through what I think a lot of pro players, no matter what level you get to, is that change from the CHL to professional. You've had so much success playing a certain way, and that doesn't always translate, right? So I remember those first few seasons, it was Curtis Lazar really trying to figure out how he was going to have some success. And man, he's figured it out. He knows his avenue or his role on each team and how valuable he can be. We had on Reed's show, Jay was laying it out, just the Oilers record when he's in the lineup. Yeah. And that's impressive. And I think just having who else said it? I believe it was I can't remember on the morning show. It might have been. Anyways, basically said has never seen a team win the Stanley Cup with a bad fourth line. And they have something with Lazar. I would be vexed to see what would the reasoning be for him to come out of the lineup when you have solidified that fourth line center role. And if the third line isn't going, I think that line could translate into a third line.
Well said. A lot of people in oil country appreciating what Curtis Lazar has brought to the table playing in game number 600. Gager, excellent edition of Gage Changers. Thank you again for filling in for Belzy. I look forward to catching up with you on the post-game show.
All right, guys. See you later.
There is Joaquin Gage, our game analyst. Great stuff from him. As always, you can text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat. Looks like the nasty chat's going good. Who's at the Jets Blues game right now? Derek? Someone's at the Jets Blues game. Excellent. I also saw a comment today. I believe it was on the nasty chat I was watching Two Guys and a Goalie, I think it was, Benny. Yeah. And someone wrote in that St. Louis is not a good hockey market. And I was like, oh no, it is a good hockey market.
That's a big one.
It's a very good hockey culture there. A lot of the former Blues stick around there. It's helped the minor hockey system. The alumni has done a great job. They're well supported by the Blues themselves. And then like Kelly Chase, who's battling cancer again, and he's going through it, but he's a tough customer. Had the good fortune of spending some time with him 2 summers ago. Great guy, just a guy from the prairies, good Saskatchewan guy. And, so we're certainly hoping for the best for Kelly, and I got to know his sons very well, and they're my friends. But he is like kind of the central figure, and a lot of people gravitate towards him, and they have a very good hockey culture. So I saw that, and I was like, but it was justified by saying like it's a baseball town. There's no denying it's a baseball town, but I think it's a very good hockey market in St. Louis.
Kelly Chase told a hilarious story. I think it was last week or something on Chicklets, and it was about meeting Gordie Howe and how he broke into the NHL. I'm not gonna explain it because it was literally a 6-minute long story, but it was hilarious. So if you guys want to go find that, go ahead. It's a top tier story that I found was pretty funny.
Awesome guy, continues to battle, and he'll battle hard, and he will not relent. That's how strong and tough mentally and physically Kelly Chase was, and always will be. So we really are rooting for him. But yeah, he's a big part of why St. Louis is a good hockey market and what they're doing with their minor hockey programs and the alumni and all that. And yeah, I just found that comment a little bit off, and I was like, no, there's a really good hockey community in and around St. Louis for sure. Anyway, that's a little bit beside the point. We took it there. I apologize. You know what we're going to do? Should we hear from Amanda Stein? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do we want to get Or do you want to play this one? Stupid Peter sent this in, and it's really quick. We'll do this one. He has a question for us. What game does McDavid hit 100 points? He needs 15 points. I believe the Oilers have 8 games until the Olympic break. Will he do it before then? Benny, what would you say to Stupid Peter?
So what's his what is he at right now? He's at
85.
85, and he's got 9 games left.
8 to go.
8 to go,
I believe. Yeah.
I would believe that happens before the break. I would imagine. To me,
Like,
he's so if that's 8 games, that's 8 games before the Olympic break. 15 points for him in 8 games is not out of reach by
he does it in
stretch.
6.
Probably. Yeah. I would think, like, to me, I'll go 7. I'll go 7. The pace he's been playing at since, I mean, I want to say that was late November, I think, mid-November, has been flat out ridiculous. Best player in the NHL, obviously, but just he's been ridiculous. So to me, I don't see that slowing down. I think he's been gearing up for the Olympics, turn it up a little bit. It's helped his team turn around their season a little bit, but I also think it's turned around his numbers, obviously. And yeah, I would say probably game 7, which would I'm now realizing that would be against the Toronto Maple Leafs at home.
Aha.
So yeah, I'll say game 7 against Toronto Maple Leafs, it gets done. Or if it goes to game 8, it's in Calgary, so that's also not a bad place to do it.
Yeah, that is right. Either one of those, right? I think the Toronto one would be sweet for him.
Yeah.
I'll go 6 just because of how well, like, he has just been on fire.
Yep.
I know the Oilers got shut out against the Islanders the other night, but like this guy, 2-3 points easy. I'll go 6 games, but it would be fitting if it was against Toronto, and then sweet for people in Oil Country and McDavid included if he did it against the Calgary Flames.
Game 6 would be against Minnesota on my birthday. So that wouldn't be too bad.
Do it for Ben's birthday. Let's do it for Ben's birthday.
Saturday night game. Yeah, not bad.
Think of Benny. Think of Benny. All right, let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Do the Oilers get their first winning streak of the season? Yes or no? Show your work. We always appreciate that. And then what game do you think McDavid hits 100 points, sitting at 85 through 50 so far? All right, I had a great chat at the rink with Amanda Stein, Devils reporter, earlier today. Here it is, myself and Amanda Stein. Pleased to be joined by Amanda Stein, Devils reporter. Welcome back to town, Amanda. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Oilers and Devils, you guys were in Calgary last night. Let's start there. A big win against the Flames, a little bit of OT.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and it was a really good game for New Jersey, who, as Sheldon Keefe talked about this morning, they're trying to find some traction. And yesterday was a really good game because they haven't been winning those close games, those 2-1 games. It's just something that's plagued this team all year long. And so to find a bit of traction, have a little bit of positivity around a game like that is huge for this group, who's really trying to find, as I said, not only traction, but just a good vibe, because it has been really up and down this year for this team.
Hey, that's a great point. And looking over at the Eastern Conference, I know where the Devils sit as of, where we are today going into this game, but they're right there. So how do you think this team is approaching things going into the last 39 games, 33, sorry.
Like that. No,
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
What's your sense of the group? You're around these guys all the time. What's your sense of them trying to hunt down a playoff spot?
It is so interesting because I don't know about you, but for me, I've never seen an Eastern Conference this close at this time of year, right? Where you could be at the bottom of the standings and only 5 or 6 points out of a wild card spot, right? And it's funny, New Jersey is closer to third in their division than they are to the second wild card spot right now. So it's it is an open free-for-all thing. So again, going back to finding that level of their game that we really saw at the beginning of the year, right? Mm-hmm. They went on that 8-game win streak. If you can sort of find that and find, that type of traction, you're putting yourself in a good spot because of how close everything is. So I think for them, they really have to look at it that way because yes, 33 games left, but it's a different type of 33 games because the numbers speak for themselves. You're not out of it. You're not, and the people behind you and the teams in front of you are also not out. So it sort of keeps that. It's actually just the most. I have not seen this ever, right? So how do you look at it in a negative way that right now you're on the outside looking in? You can't because opportunity is still there, right? So sometimes at this point of the season, you're out of it, right? Yeah. But the math doesn't say that to this team. And with 33 games and the type of talent that is on this team, they can do something with it, right? They can do something with those 33 games.
Hope and confidence are huge, especially going into the stretch drive. And then, too, if you're winning some games here and there, you feel good, and then that starts to build up. Momentum can be a big thing. Okay, now in the win, I know the talk today, and Sheldon Keefe talked to us and said, listen, not really much of an update on Luke Hughes, but he's not going to play tonight. So how much of a hole does that leave on the blue line here?
You know, it's so interesting because probably for the last 5 games or so, is the healthiest the Devils' blue line has been, the most complete the Devils' blue line has been, because Johnny Kovacevic has been out from off-season surgery. He just came back 2 weeks ago, right? And they've sort of been playing him a little bit here, a little bit there as his body gets back used to the pace. So there is this opportunity to, still have a really firm and solid defensive group, because they've been taking guys like Dougie Hamilton out of the lineup. They have been taking guys like Shimon Nemitz, who scored the OT winner last night, out of trying to the opposite of that, right? Like, you're trying to keep your bodies healthy and you're trying to keep everybody in a groove. And unfortunately for Luke, I mean, it's just devastating, right? Like, he's a young superstar, or not superstar talent, but he's like a really, really great talent for this team. It's too bad, but on the other side of it, because your roster is so healthy defensively, you have a guy that can come in and carry the load. It's not like you're bringing, a guy up from Utica, which is where their AHL team is, that maybe isn't ready. Everyone that they have available to them right now, even with Luke out, is an NHL defenseman, right? And one that's solid, has played, over 100 or so games and has made a mark for themselves in this league. So, it's obviously devastating to lose Luke, right? Like, he's a great talent for this team and a great locker room guy, but ultimately you have to look at what you have in front of you, and this team does have really good options for them without Luke on the blue line. So Johnny Kovacevic will go in tonight, and instead of having to pull someone out of the lineup, whether it was Nemitz or Dougie, you don't have to do that. And so that's also like a bit of a luxury in a way, right? To have a full, healthy blue line.
Well said. Okay, a guy that we know here over the last couple of years, Connor Brown. And
the best.
He's a great guy. He's great, very chatty. He'll tell you how he feels. People didn't love him here the first year. And then late in that first season, when he started playing better, he scored his first goal against Washington. It was like 65, 66 games into the year. Then he started to play well. Then they went on their first cup run. They lost in the final. He comes back, gets a nice contract last season. People really appreciated what Connor Brown brought to the table. He walks to New Jersey, gets a nice contract, earns it. And then all of a sudden on the pre- and post-game show, Amanda, I'm getting these texts being like, Connor Brown did this and Connor Brown did that. And the appreciation started to come out. How can you appreciate Connor Brown with the Devils now?
I will say that in New Jersey, he has been appreciated from the get-go. And that's not a knock on, the situation that was with the Oilers. It's really not. But he's come into this team at the exact right time, right? This is a team that's trying to get over the hump, become contenders. And the type of experience that Connor Brown has from specifically those 2 runs with the Oilers is massive for this group. He is a huge leader in that locker room, and what is that he's not shy to voice his opinion. And one of the best wins that New Jersey had this season was when they were trailing by 2 or 3 goals in Columbus just before the new year, heading into the third period. Nico Hischier, our captain, and a couple of other players mentioned that Connor Brown stood up in that second intermission and said, enough is enough. Like,
I could see him.
Enough is enough. Like, let's get going here. Let's make a difference. And New Jersey came out like firing on all cylinders, scored 2 goals in a matter of a couple of seconds at one point, and ended up winning that game. And so it's just those little moments about Connor that go a long way for this group that's really trying to become what Edmonton is, right? And the perennial playoff performance heading into the postseason and going the distance. And so you bring in a guy like that, he was instantly respected. Just a great guy too, like just so fun to be around and just like a personality. And so he's fitting great, and he's contributing up and down. Well, you guys saw it against the Oilers there, so I know he was real happy like that. Brett Pesce said to me after that game, he's like, I have never seen Connor light up like that after scoring. He's like, he lit up like a Christmas tree after that goal.
Okay, yes, he does that. But wait a sec, Curtis Lazar scored in that game. He's playing in his 600th NHL game.
I'm so happy for him.
He's playing well. What can you say about Curtis Lazar. You had a nice conversation with him too.
I did. Yeah. I mean, Laser is one of my favorite people in this business. I mean, he is so, he's almost similar in personality to Connor Brown, right? Like, you sort of have that personable, will always talk to you. But Laser has this, oh gosh, I don't even, like, his personality is so funny to me, and he embraces, what his role is. He does it well, and he knows that he's like a glue guy, locker room kind of guy, right? And he just plays it perfectly. And him and Luke Hughes actually used to have this like battle going back and forth. Like Laser used to take shots at him all the time, like not actual physical shots, but like shots on camera about Luke. So he is that type of guy. I love him. Every year in New Jersey, we have this charity event, and I do a video with a player where we go around and talk to other players and people there. And he was always my go-to guy. We would go curling together and do all. Yeah, of course, exactly. And he's the first to poke fun at his teammates in the most honest and humble of ways. He's just the best. So you guys are lucky to have him. I mean, I know our New Jersey fans were devastated to see him leave. So we swapped 1 for 1, right?
Yeah, that's a fair trade. Yeah. I may have overheard Curtis Lazar say, boy, I wonder what my T-shirts are going to look like tonight for a 600
that too.
game. Yeah.
I did. He was sort of mentioning, I guess, because Nugent Hopkins had his.
They had a sweater.
He's like, what about mine? Like, what I said, hey, man, like someone wrote happy 600th Laser on the board, okay? Yes. That's what you can expect. I was like, different calibers. But that's the thing that's so great about Laser is that you can just like be super honest with him like that, and he'll just he'll go
he's
at it.
One crack at the joke.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's like, what? Like I'm not as good as Nugent Hopkins? I was like, no, Laser, you're not.
Well, he's appreciated as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, when the Devils are on their game, and they have given the Oilers fits in this building in recent years, what are they doing well? What are we expecting tonight?
Well, you're looking at a real sound defensive game, and I think that this is something that the team has really tried to embrace, and it's come in spurts so far this year, but their best game is when they allow their defensive side of the puck play create their offense. And I know that that's such like a simple thing to say about like being a successful hockey team, but with this type of group, it's legitimate because they've had such a hard time scoring, which is kind of crazy when you think of the offensive talent on this team, right? Like they're not scoring goals at the same pace that they used to in years past. And so really honing in on that defensive side and being smart and being like aware of, where your teammates are is going to be, it's fundamental against a team like this in particular, especially because we said at the beginning of this, like they've got to figure out how to win those 2-1, 3-2 games that they haven't been able to. They did it last night, and I hope they do it again tonight, but I
understand.
That's okay. That's okay.
Amanda, excellent update. Thank you for this. Always appreciate you hopping on with me. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I love doing this, so appreciate it.
Well, you're good at it.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, Amanda Stein.
Ask Laser what he thinks.
Well, he'll tell you. He'll tell you. Amanda Stein, Devils reporter. Curtis Lazar playing his 600th game, and Connor Brown makes his return to Edmonton tonight. All right, awesome stuff there from Amanda Stein. Having a little fun with it too. Doesn't always have to be, why so serious? You can have fun with it in and around the rink. And I saw somebody texted, I think it was Brandon from Windsor, said, where is that one? Do you play on the team? Yes. And then saying our captain. Yeah, Amanda works for the team. And so there's a lot of, when I was at Oilers TV, I would avoid it at all costs. I think Tony and Paige do a pretty good job of not doing it. Bob and Jack, obviously, you don't see it. Those are all team employees, but especially when you get into the American markets, it's different the way they approach it because they are part of the team. They're more integrated with the team as well, and not kind of kept off to the side like Canadian markets. So Brandon from Windsor, yes, I was thinking about it too, but then I remember, oh yeah, it's a different type of market, different type of role where you are, stuck at the hip with the team and essentially one of them. So she does a great job. She's a great reporter and she does everything in her power to be as objective as possible. But that's where that kind of comes from. So just wanted to hit on that. Big thank you to Amanda. She was excellent. What'd you take away from that about the New Jersey Devils there, Benny?
Well, I mean, first takeaway was how good of a dude Laser is in the dressing room.
One of the best.
Just seems like a great guy. I mean, you can see it on TV too. Just like, always got a smile on his face. knows his role, all that stuff. For me, the Devils, they've won 3 or 4, like we mentioned, but it's just there's something. I'm always so confused why the Devils aren't better than what they show. You know what I mean? I think there was that year where they went off and there was this crazy team that out of nowhere it took off. And that was great, and you would think that would propel them to being this contender every year. They'd always be in the playoffs. It hasn't been the story. They've dealt with injuries, and that's part of having some guys that are kind of injury prone, and Jack Hughes, and now
Luke Hughes.
Yeah, exactly. Now Luke Hughes with his other shoulder getting hurt.
Shoulder. A lot of shoulder injuries for the Hughes brothers, huh?
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. But to me, they've been dealing with that, but they still have so much talent on that roster. Mm-hmm. It surprises me that they don't, sit at the top of their division all the time. So, for me, it's interesting how the Devils haven't kind of taken that step to be a true contender. They have, once again, so much talent. But obviously, I don't watch every single game of the Devils, so I couldn't tell you what they're missing or whatever. But to me, it just seems like whatever year it is, there's something that goes wrong that doesn't make them a perfect team. So,
right.
I guess we'll see tonight. But when I look back to when the last time New Orleans played the Devils this season, Jack Hughes was ridiculous in that game. I remember he was flying around everywhere, making ridiculous plays. And he hasn't been as great since returning from injury. So I'm curious to see if that kind of turns around for him tonight.
5-3, the Oilers fell to the Devils on October 18th at Prudential Center. Jack Hughes did have the GWG. Hey, I think he has a game-winning goal with who he's dating, too.
Oh. Woo! Yeah. I would say so.
I think he's
I
doing
don't know if
all
they're
right.
dating, but if
hanging out? What do we call that as the younger folk? What do we
talking?
Do you call that talking?
That's talking. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's
not just talking.
The dates before making it official, you're talking to them.
Okay.
And then once it's official, then you're dating them. But yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call Jack Hughes and Tate McRae. But power couple, that's for sure. If they are a couple.
Those hockey players. I think she's a big fan.
I
think she's a big fan.
Yeah.
And he is, in turn, a big fan of hers. All right. We're going to get to the game day odds check brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta. It's safe and secure, and the revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. Use your game sense. I wanted to do a parlay on the national championship, but I just stuck with Dusty's early bird play and with Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day hit. Nicely done, Glue Guy. And then Dusty, we needed Indiana to win by 8. And, of course, they only won by 6. If they wouldn't have taken that false start when they were marching on third down, or was it fourth and 1? They were going to go for it. They had the false start from the lineman. It brought them back, had to kick the field goal. I swear they would have kicked that, or they would have scored a touchdown. They would have won by more than 8. But just a great game. Just a great game. And Glue Guy got the over. Glue Guy got the call on the winning team. And Miami's defense was good. They were good.
I'm a big fan of Mendoza kid.
That 4th and 5 where he ran, 12 yards?
He was
dove in.
He was explaining the play too of how he saw it. They called quarterback draw, and he said if it's cover, then he's running. And if it's man on man, he's throwing it. And he said he saw half the defense play man on man and half the defense play zone. And he just said, screw it, I'm going. And went and it was a dog, got into that.
Epic.
That was pretty sick. So,
that.
I'm sure the Raiders will appreciate him next year, I'd imagine.
Well, hey, Tom Brady and Mark Davis were there. So good for him. And you know what, though? He seems like a good kid, transferred, was a 2-star recruit, I believe. Yeah. His brother is going into the transfer portal, was his backup this year. The mom has MS. People may be wondering, what's up with the wheelchair. Great story. Seems like a good kid. Seems like a great family, and so well spoken. I appreciated the F-bomb. I'm also a big fan of Kirk. Was it Cignetti, the coach of Indiana? Just get the man a damn beer. I can appreciate that. So
In those moments, man, feed
yeah. And he looks so grumpy during the game. And he had like those devil eyes. He's mad at everything. But just a tremendous game. Miami played well. Hopefully Owanik was okay. Was he miserable today in the studio?
I didn't really catch him like too bad. Like, I mean, I caught him when he was in his office. I showed up today at 2:30. So by that time, he's calmed down, I think, from the hangout. But yeah, I did not want to bring up at all about the Miami Indiana game I know it's a bad spot for him.
His team, one of many, played very well last night and have nothing to be ashamed about. They were very, very strong, very proud performance, I would say, from Miami, but just didn't get the clutch plays. And that punt return or the punt block touchdown was huge too. So great game. Anyway, let's get to the game day odds check brought to you by Play Alberta. On the money line tonight, Edmonton minus 175. New Jersey was at plus 148, so Edmonton pretty heavy favorites. And then the over-under was set at 6.5. They had Edmonton at plus 100, or pardon me, the over at plus 100, the under at minus 133. All right, we have a couple minutes left. Edmonton going 11-7. No Kapanen yet. Draisaitl not quite ready to return. Expect him later in the week. I did see a few texts. I'd like to get to those. Mikey texts in, says, great interview with Amanda. Loved it. She gave in-depth outlook on Lazar and Connor Brown around the rink. Love it. She said they were great guys. I believe it. I love Lazar. Saw him at Kelowna Airport like 9 years ago by himself. He was smiling. Seems like a great guy. That's from Mikey. And Mikey, he genuinely is. He's always been like that since he was 16 years old. And that's one of the things I appreciate most about Curtis Lazar. And what you get on the ice, he's just busting his ass. He understands his role. He'll do it at 100%. Maybe some would argue even 110%. So, El Presidente texted in earlier, said, can confirm, Benny, that was a great story. I love hearing it. And if McDavid doesn't get it versus Minnesota, he will be in the building, baby. That's El Presidente. And then what story did we tell again?
That was the Kelly Chase one. I was mentioning.
Kelly Chase. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I met Gordie Howe and it was.
That's right.
Awesome story.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you, El Presidente. Good to hear from you. And then Norman, a combine. It says Saturday night game for your birthday. You could slip over next door during and after the game. What is that? Oh, no. Yeah. Norm. No.
I also
leave him alone.
I took pre and post off that night. So I will not be in the office for my birthday. Well, I'll be working hella hockey in the morning. But neighbors will not catch me on my birthday.
Yeah. Just stay away. Yeah. You'll be okay about that. You'll be about that. Norm. And then RGYG Duck says, what up, Gazzola and the boys? Not much. We're having a fun pregame show. Joaquin was great earlier. Amanda was great as well. We're in good spirits, even though it's a late start. TNT.
22 start, man, on a Tuesday.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. Megan Mickelson is working the game tonight. Nice to see her today. Saw Eddie Olchuk is on it. And who else? Who's on the call? Patty Steinberg texted. I didn't see the play-by-play guy at the rink. Let's see where Patty put it out there. Where's Patty's post about that? There it is. Liam McHugh, Tuukka Rask, Anson Carter, and Biz Nasty in studio. Alex Faust, Shane Knighty, Catherine Tappan have the Bruins and Stars, and then Johnny Forsland with Eddie O and Megan Mickelson. Johnny Forsland, one of the best. Seriously, the Seattle Kraken are very lucky to have him as their regular play-by-play guy on TV. And him and Jack Michael's very good friends. I met Johnny Forsland through Jack, hung out with him a bunch. He is top level, national level quality. And when you have that night in, night out, I think the Oilers have that as well in Jack and Cam Moon, to be honest with you. You're pretty damn lucky. Benny, final thoughts from you.
Get it done. Please.
Get it done.
Please. Let's stop this whole 2 games and then they lose and then they lose and then they win 2 more. Stop it. End it now. Win streak. Start it now when the rest of your games, your homestand starts tonight. Let's go. Beat the Devils. Let's go.
I can't top that. Benny, you said it perfectly. Well done, my friend. Game number 600 for Curtis Lazar. Let's see if they celebrate it with a victory the way they did with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You know what? It doesn't have to be 5-0. He doesn't have to score a game-winning goal in the opening period. It's just a good game. Maybe he gets a point. Maybe he contributes. He mucks it up in front of the net. And then the Oilers, a 2-3-1 win would be nice. 4-2, whatever. A win and a winning streak. That'd be lovely. Let's see if they get it done. I'm positive about it. Benny's positive about it. Joaquin, not so sure, but maybe he's doing reverse psychology. Anyway, we'll see how it goes tonight. A huge thank you to Amanda Stein from the New Jersey Devils, giving us the scoop on them as they play back-to-back nights in both Alberta cities, wrapping it up. Everybody who listened, for Ben Thomson and Joaquin Gage, I am Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the Oilers and the Devils. We'll see you on the post-game show. Ciao for now.